And welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo and your girl Polly. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero and our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games, comic books. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all of that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, you know what to do. Get down there and hit like on this video. So, look, we're in February. You know what that means? It's Black History Month in America, at least. I don't know what it is. I feel like in
No,
Serbia,
they don't do it anywhere
I feel
else.
like in Serbia they don't. They do it in like Canada. They do it in the UK, I think. And of course, in Africa, it's always Black History Month. It's literally all their entire history. So, I mean, elsewhere, I think they may even do.
I mean, it is for everyone else too. They just choose to ignore it.
I think maybe they do it in Brazil. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but in America, it's Black History Month, so we're gonna be spending Black History Month talking about black superheroes. You know, I mean, we're blurs. We can do that. And other comic book and nerd channels should be doing the same, but we know what it is. this climate, woke DEI, anti whatever. You know, the usual suspects. They won't even recognize us this month. So whatever, we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna recognize some black superheroes, and our favorites and some black superhero media. It's gonna be a good time. So we also have news to talk about, of course. Stuff is happening. Stuff happening in the world. But before we do that, we gotta say what's up to our resident Reed Richards truther, comic book aficionado, all around cool blurred, and that of course is our friend Polly of Comics. Polly, how you doing today?
I'm doing so good. I am doing really great. I had like a pretty packed week. Read a lot of comics, more than I could expect. I did finish my review of The Savage She-Hulk. It wasn't easy because there is not much to say about this run. I mean, everybody told me that I shouldn't even be reading it, but I did, and I don't regret it. Well, you can check out that review. It's on Tumblr. I did some nerding on a budget finally, and I kept like, okay, I can't say that it was like on a budget, but you know what? It's nerding. It's always on a budget. And I did watch some stuff too. I watched Fallout, almost finished it, season 2. And I did watch My Neighbor Totoro, which I haven't seen before.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
You would think I'd seen it, of course, when I was deep into my anime days back like 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago now, I think about it. I downloaded it and I never watched it, which is ridiculous.
You know what?
I've got to do that.
I had deep into anime days, but that was about 30 years ago, and it was Sailor Moon. And back then we didn't have internet, so I had no idea this existed. And you know what? I really liked it. I liked it more than Spirited Away, because it's a little less weird, but still weird. But it was fun.
Well, that's cool. You know what? I need to check that out. I just need to go on HBO Max and just watch all of the Ghibli films. I've seen like some of my favorite.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Time.
It's moving slowly, and well, we'll see.
It's like there's no sense of urgency to get to them, but like there's so many that like I think there's like 30 movies over the course of that studio's history. Some of my favorite movies of all time are them, like Howl's Moving Castle. I love Spirited Away.
I watched Howl's Moving Castle, but I don't remember what it was about. I didn't like it though.
I really liked Howl's Moving Castle, but I was trying to remember there was another, not Kiki's Delivery. You know what? Actually, I may have seen My Neighbor Totoro. I may have seen that. There's one that's more slice of life than anything else. It's not like, you know what I'm saying. But I always liked Miyazaki's his direction of Castle of Cagliostro, which was I'm a big fan of Lupin the Third, and that could be one of the better, maybe the best of the movies, and it's from like 79 or 80. It's really good though. Anyway, That's pretty cool. You nerded like you nerded like nobody's business
Nerd
this
like a
week.
pro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this week.
all the nerding I could fit in.
Oh, that's cool. And of course, you play Marvel Rivals, obviously.
Of course, naturally. That's just can't get out of it right
I
now.
mean,
It's over.
it's just a given. If it's a week that if it's a day that ends in the word day, that's it's you played Marvel Rivals. Well, on my
No
end,
word. There is not a single day that ends in a word day in Serbia, by the way.
oh well, English is the only thing that matters. So,
Oh yeah, American.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, so my nerding this week, I got a little bit done. Like I'm busy doing other things that are not nerd related, but did watch Wonder Man again. I told everybody I was like I'm gonna sit my daughter down, make her watch this show, even though she stubbornly doesn't watch MCU stuff unless someone on TikTok says you got to. Yeah, she's Gen Z. Um, but I was like, no, we're watching this. This is about an actor. It's great. You need to watch it. So I rewatched it over the course of a week. I think watched 3 episodes on Friday, and then watched the rest of them on a Sunday. Loved it. It's even better the second time. Y'all watch it again. Go and it's a very breezy rewatch too. It's like 4 hours. It's like watching a really long movie, but it's not structured like a movie. Obviously, it's great. Also having her commentary, as she wants to be an actor, she does plays and stuff like that. She's at a high school where that's their performing arts is their thing. It was really cool, really enlightening. I was like, you need to see what an actor's life is. You know what I'm saying? Even if the superhero stuff, whatever, you need to see what acting is about. So
Did she like it?
yeah, she had a great time with it.
Is she terrified of becoming an actor now?
No. No.
Damn it!
Fortunately for her, I think she feels like it's the thing she wants to do with her life. So I mean, okay, well, you go into it with your eyes wide open. That's all I want. I'm all with it. So it was a good
Trevor
time.
Slattery's are all around us. Could be anyone.
She would be lucky to have a Trevor Slattery in her life. Minus the debauchery, but all the mentor stuff. That would be cool. So you guys should. I encourage rewatch the show. Also, watched Meteor Man, which is a movie from the '90s about a black superhero that we were supposed to cover this week, but somebody didn't watch the movie, so we'll watch it we're gonna cover it another week. I watched it when it was in the theater back in the '90s. It was a good walk down memory lane. I can't.
Back in the '90s, we didn't have it in the theaters. So
That's
that
fair.
is my excuse.
It was a black movie. You wouldn't have gotten it. I get it. But we have piracy now, so we can do that. We're gonna talk about it this month, definitely. Also, went to the movie theater and saw Send Help, which is the new Sam Raimi movie with Rachel McAdams and Dylan. What's the guy's name? Dylan O'Brien.
I don't know who that is.
Dylan O'Brien was in The Maze Runner. He was the main. He was the lead in the Maze Runner series.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he's all grown up. He's a big guy. He's a big boy.
Wasn't he like 20 in that movie?
No, I think he was a teenager in the movie series, but
no, he was playing a teenager. He was probably in his 40s by that point.
I suspect he's in his 30s now. But he plays an asshole CEO, and that kind of does his. Rachel McAdams. The makeup design makeup artist and wardrobe worked overtime to make her not unattractive but frumpy. You know how you take like a hot girl and be like, put some glasses
and then
on
put
her.
the glasses on her. Yeah.
Put the glasses. Yeah. They worked overtime to make her look frumpy, and she's he basically passes her over for a promotion she deserves, and like he thinks she's weird and basically trying to get rid of her. But then they're going on a business trip to Thailand, and then their plane crashes, and then they're stuck on a desert island. They're the only ones that are surviving. They're stuck on a desert island together, and he realizes all that fucking money and power he had back in the real world don't mean shit on this island.
You don't know how to build a fire.
Yeah, but she does because she's addicted to like survivor and survival techniques and shit like that. Look, it was great. I really enjoyed the movie. It plays out, and it's very funny too. Sam Raimi will serve up jokes with his horror, and it's not even really horror. It's more thriller than anything else. It's like if the movie Misery
Well,
was
to that guy, it is a
yeah.
thriller.
Well, I mean, well, imagine the movie Misery, but on a desert island. It's kind of like that, and it's very interesting. There's some twists and turns. It's it in some ways tries to make you think that it's gonna play out a certain way. Like, oh, now they're together. They're forced to be together. There's gonna be like a romantic thing between them. But it's Sam.
But then
Raimi.
she kills him.
But it's Sam Raimi, and he's like, yeah, yeah, about that. These lepers don't change their spots, and this motherfucker, he's an entitled CEO, that inherited his company basically, and he's entitled, and he doesn't respect her, and this is not going to go well. So I think it's really good. You should go to the theater to see it. But if you don't, when it hits streaming, definitely watch it. It's a good time. Sam Raimi, he knows what he's doing. Rachel McAdams is very good. Dylan O'Brien, they're very good in it, and that's mostly pretty much the only ones on the screen at all times. It's a good time. Also, I read comic books. We're gonna talk about it in Polly's got issues, but I did read comic books this week. Very good time. So, also nerded on a budget. You mentioned nerding on a budget. I
Yes.
nerded on a budget.
Shocking.
Even though I said I'm not supposed to, because I spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to either, but that happened.
But we did do some nerding on a budget. But that's of course where we try to get cool nerdy stuff for as cheap as possible. And we're gonna show off our swag. What did we get this week? So, Polly, what'd you get? What's your nerding on a budget?
Okay, so my whole is first and foremost this. I did have a copy of this, but like it was a smaller one, and then I walked into a store and I saw like in the middle of Serbia or Latvia, whichever you prefer, this Buffy tarot cards.
Nice.
And of course I had to get them. They're big, they're cool, they're like shiny, and they have a little book inside that is about how to read them and stuff. Of course I had to get it. Like,
obviously
that was not a conversation. That was not other option. And then I found some small compact issues of some comics that we all know and love, and of course I had to buy them, despite I said it with the first one that I bought. It was Fantastic Four. It was, God, I forgot, Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four, and I said that the printing quality, like the quality of images, is a little bit dark, and it's not as good as with the full-size trade paperbacks. But this is still a good buy. Definitely enough information for the money that you pay, and it's cheap. That's important. So the first one I got from DC, and it's the first compact book from DC I got. It's Batman Arkham Asylum. Very pretty, like very. If you can see,
nice. That is very nice. Actually.
Yeah. So gorgeous art, everything. Would have loved a full size issue, but like the small one is good too. And the other one is Civil War.
Nice. Is that the complete Civil War, or is that the?
It is.
Is it
the
like
Marvel Premier Collection? It's the main arc of the Civil War. It's doesn't have all the side issues, but I have some of them. I'll buy the rest of them. It's important that I have this.
That's what I'm gonna flex a little bit as a nerd here, also to show my age. I have the entire Civil War, and I'm not kidding. I have all of Civil War in singles. Like I bought.
Have you read it?
Yeah. Have I read it? I read it when it came out. Not kidding. Like when it was run, because I was regularly collecting single comic books at the time. The entire Civil War event, I bought every single issue. Boy, they got a lot of money out of me. at the time. But I have them all bagged and boarded. They're sitting in a long box as we speak. That's just
That is awesome.
my little nerd flex, also to show you that I'm old.
Well, I did read it back then, but unfortunately, there was not an option to buy and collect them, especially in singles. And thankfully, I don't really like single issues because I prefer trades and I prefer hardcovers. I will show up to hardcovers today
Right.
too, but that's gonna come later. And well, that's gonna be me bragging.
Well, no, that's fair. Singles are like I don't like buying singles anymore either. I don't like buying physical comics as much anymore, but unless they're like cheap. But so I don't really buy singles all that often. My nerding on a budget is very limited this week. Again, you know, it's after Christmas, so all of the good buys on toys are not so great anymore, and they're hard to find. But I did find some good movies. So I got a movie I've been meaning to watch. So this Jason Statham's remake of The Mechanic, which I heard is really good. And also, anytime they're just like Jason Statham go beat people up in a movie, I'm like, I'm there for it. So
Sometimes he fixes things in a movie.
I mean, I think the thing he's fixing is people's attachment to
Fines.
Yeah, their attachment to like the mortal coil. He definitely makes sure that stops happening.
Wow, I haven't seen a single one of his movies. Well, first of all, it's not really my genre, but then again, I did hear a joke about him playing like in all of this movie that have job titles, and well, I just assume when you said mechanic, I just assumed that's probably that bald guy.
I just still need to watch The Beekeeper, but I was like,
oh, is the beekeeper really
Yeah.
the beekeeper? That's one of his jobs.
I was like,
he's like a porn actor, you know?
Yeah, I was just like, are y'all making a parody of a Jason Statham movie? Like, I'll watch it. I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out are y'all just gonna, any one of these? He's just gonna be that guy. He's just gonna be the guy that beats up people, which is I'm okay with it. He's like if Jack Reacher were a tiny British man. So I got this other one. The seriously underrated and underappreciated Blade Runner 2049. I even argue it's better than the first one. I think Blade Runner 2049. I think 2049 is better than Blade Runner. It's certainly I think it certainly looks better and it's more dynamic and because the part of my problem with Blade Runner is it's a bit slow moving, and I don't mean slow moving as in the plot slow moving. I mean it lingers a lot. And I'm just like, what's happening? Why are we spending so much time looking at
the
things?
people and their attention span these days. I love when movie lingers. I really enjoy it.
I think everything is in service to the story and the plot and making it all make sense. Some of it feels a little indulgent. And that I mean, look, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I like Blade Runner. I'm not saying I don't like it. I think I like.
But it ain't Blade.
I think I like Denis Villeneuve's 2049 a bit better. Either way, $2 for both of those, each for those. That's a great buy, a great addition to the nerdy collection. So that's our nerding on the budget. So that means it's time for Polly has issues. This is of course our segment where Polly talks about the comic books she's been reading. And she got a lot this week, y'all. Just buckle up. We got some stuff to talk about. And I'm going to very briefly say something, if you don't mind. During Polly's issues, all I'm going to say is, oh, and I forgot to mention this during Nerd on a Budget. Guys, if at least in America, I can't speak for any other country. In America, we have a pretty robust public library system. And part of it is now they have hooked up with digital library apps. I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again because I read Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Flash Volume 1 because they were available on the digital library apps through my local library. I think it was Hoopla is the name of it. Now, Poly, I don't know what y'all have in Serbia and other people
We
out
don't
there.
have that.
But there are digital library apps that maybe you can get access to. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're an American or maybe Canadian, I don't know, or British, if you have access to a local library and they have digital media apps, make sure to jump on there and check them out. You don't have to get a subscription to Marvel Unlimited. You don't have to get a subscription to DC Universe Infinite or Global Comics. I mean, if you want to spend the money, you can, but if you're, cheap or you just don't have the money, you can read comics for the free from these, your local library or their digital selection. So that's what I did. I read Absolute Flash and Green Lantern. Wow, they are different from the mainstream. I mean, look, Polly, you can attest to this. I feel like you've read at least Green Lantern, right? I don't know if you read Absolute Flash, but
Yeah.
you read Green Lantern. Wow, they are different from what I expecting, but from the mainstream one. But they are also very clearly trying to. It's like when you say the Absolute Universe is a remix of the mainstream universe, it's definitely a huge it's a remix, that it's a reimagining remix. And so they throw in every, in Green Lantern, they throw in the name of every Green Lantern you sort of know that's a human. And somehow they all end up in the same place at the same time, getting affected by the same things. So you're just like, how the hell
in
is
different ways.
Yeah, and there's even a Green Lantern I don't know. What's her name? Joe Mullen?
Jo, she's from First Sector, and she's like one of my favorites.
And she,
Jo,
in this book, she actually is the Green Lantern, right? So
which is why I love this book.
And John Stewart, he's around, but he's around. John Stewart's there. Abin Sur shows up, but like in a way you don't know. It's much different. Hal Jordan's there, and surprise, taking from the original comics the way that, remember Hal Jordan ultimately ended up being Parallax. He was the vessel for Parallax and ruined the Green Lanterns. Well, in a way, he sort of does something like that in this one. The only people we didn't see was Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner's the only one that I did not see mentioned. But we even got Guy was in there, right? So we got like all of these names dropped, and then on top of that, we have what's the billionaire? It's I forget the billionaire's name, but he's the one that really wants the Green Lantern. You're finding out that this world sucks. Like I was trying to really put it into words, but no, the Absolute Universe, Earth sucks. It's like terrible. It's like if Elon Musk or like had like it lived in a world of superpowers.
What he has in this world. Yeah, and was the same. And was doing the same thing.
Like if you think the billionaires in the mainstream DC universe are terrible, man, you don't even know. Like I honestly think Lex Luthor from the mainstream DC universe would seem tame in comparison to how terrible like these oligarchs are in the Absolute Universe, which I think is going to make their comeuppance so much sweeter. But I like Green Lantern. DC's my intro into DC was Green Lantern. I really like the mythos, and this is playing around with it so much that it's somewhat unrecognizable. But I'm intrigued. Where's this going? Absolute Flash was just, they're like, again, industrialist billionaires are doing the worst things. They've decided Superman is a problem and we need superpower problems, and basically they Suicide Squad some of the stuff. But Wally West accidentally gets powers, and they are way more defined and way harder to deal with than Barry Allen or Wally West in the mainstream universe ever had to deal with. There's a bit of Dr. Manhattan going on in there. I mean, with the way the powers work, it's a good time. Like they're making a legitimate teen book, a teen angst book with superpowers, and I think it's a fun time. Like I want to read more of this. So I'm like the Absolute Universe is dope. That's all I'm saying. It's the Absolute Universe. Whoever decided this was a thing to do, give them a raise because it's great. I'm really enjoying it. I need to read more Absolute Martian Manhunter next, though. Anyway, I took over a lot of your time. Y'all go read Absolute everything. All right, so Polly, now she's going to talk about the issues she had.
Okay, so for me, it was a very Marvel week, obviously. And I did read new comics because I kind of like set them aside and focused on reading the older stuff before, but I came back. I read some new stuff. And first, of course, the reason why I even started this whole thing was Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. It's kind of like a first issue of part 2 of a bigger arc, of the same arc that we had in the Storm comic book that was released a few months ago. It's the same thing with gods and thunder and stuff like that. Very epic, very huge, good art. But the point is that Storm is like, at this point in the comics, she is so high on top of the superhero ladder. She's practically a god. She's very powerful. It's really hard to find something that would be a problem for her. So that's why she's dealing with gods. She kind of has an issue with this one god in particular, and they throw all they have at her. So that's what we're dealing with. It does seem like an interesting story, but I gotta say, it's not a version of Storm I really enjoy too much, because I would prefer something more, grounded, some personal stories. I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me, but I've seen people be very excited about it, and that's great. And of course, it does have epic moments. It does give you the feeling of, wow, yes, she's so cool and she's so powerful, but that's not all she is. So still waiting for that perfect Storm run, wherever it might be, whoever might write it. Then I read the Uncanny X-Men 23 and actually 22 too, because I missed it before. It's now when we come back to the mainstream X-Men run, that's one thing, because they're dealing specifically with the aftermath of what they've seen in the future in the Age of Revelation. But the Uncanny X-Men, they're not dealing with that. Nobody from that team remembers or knows what happened then. And as far as I know, like, we are expecting the next run, which is X-Men United, which is going to be focused on the school, and all these characters are going to be there. I don't know whether they're going to keep this team dynamic of these books. But Uncanny X-Men, they're dealing with their own stuff. In issue 22, Mutiny is back, which is a villain who, as far as I know, like, I think people liked her. Again, I wasn't such a huge fan, because just something doesn't work for me 100%, like, doesn't hit the right note in this one. But either way, we're dealing with Gambit finally having some repercussions of experiencing some repercussions of carrying that Eye of Agamotto, which he snatched from a dragon early on in the run. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, he was trying to eat one of his cats, so
What?
yeah. Definitely a reason to at least check it out. If you're into that sort of thing, go check it out. I did read Rogue issue 1. It's a different story, and it's not written by the same writer who's writing the Uncanny X-Men. It's Rogue's solo adventure that features a Mystique and Destiny, which is like, this is a good enough reason to also check it out. And Rogue in this one, she goes off alone to deal with her own stuff, and yeah, well, you might even say that. I mean, I wouldn't, but you might. She has to deal with something from her past, and obviously, like, that's why she goes off to find Mystique and Destiny. And we also find out what's going on with Mystique and why she hasn't been around so much. Another one that I really have high hopes for this one, and I'm gonna probably put it aside and wait for it to be fully released before I come back to it. But it's Magic and Colossus, and for a while we haven't seen them on the same team in a long time, and would remember that during Krakoa, Colossus went through like a lot of shit. He had a really tough time while Magic was one of the generals, like higher ups. Colossus was not doing so well, and obviously like that affected him. And now he was in kind of an exile. Went back to Russia. Well, it is an exile, you know. Nobody goes there willingly. He went back to Russia, and Magic followed him. And then they come across some folklore, baddies inspired by Russian folklore. It's very interesting. It's I want to see where it's gonna go and how it's gonna incorporate these stories into the plot, I suppose. But it does. There are some moments that, of course, kind of seem weird. Like sometimes they use Russian words, and it sounds unnatural. But no, it's American writing, right?
Yeah, they need to.
They try.
They need to consult. I don't understand. Like in this world,
I mean, really, yeah.
Like you literally could just and here's the thing: any of those writers could be like, "Look, I'm writing X-Men, I'm writing Colossus and Magic. I'm not Russian. Anybody, I'll pay you, and it's not gonna be a lot. I'll just pay you. Like, hey, look at this dialogue. Tell me a good word. Tell me." I mean,
100 fans probably would willingly do it for free.
They would do it for free. No, more to the point, and I think this is really something. You could be like, look, I'm not Russian, and I'm pretty sure my American sensibilities, we have some similarities, but there are some things that you say and do, and some mannerisms that are very American, and you know it. Like look, you're a Russian, and you are, but you read and watch American media, right? Every time you see a Russian represented on American media, how often are you like, no, that's not, we wouldn't say that, we wouldn't do that, that's not the way people act. Like,
95% of time.
and it would be solved very easily by asking somebody like you, hey, look at this, what I wrote. What do you think? Does this make sense? Now, from an American, we don't know. Americans, we don't know shit, right? All we know is what our TV tells us, right? We may have met a Russian person in our life.
You would never know.
But as a,
this communists they warned you about that are hiding everywhere. You would never know.
I mean, The Americans was a documentary, right? That show was a documentary, I'm sure. But all I'm saying is, like, it would be very easy for any comic writer, for the free, literally could just ask somebody for free, look this over and be like, hey, does this make sense? Or do you know what I'm saying? And plenty of fans would be like, yeah or no. And then they'd punch it up. And then at least for a small segment of the audience, this will make sense. And to an American, we don't know the fucking difference. So it would be something good for y'all, and it would be just like whatever it does, because we wouldn't know that there was any changes that mattered. I'm just curious why they don't do it. That's all. But anyway,
I wondered that, because like if I was writing some, I don't know, let's say Vietnamese character, I would probably look for some Vietnamese people to help me out and consult.
They probably do something stupid like consult Google AI and be like, Google AI.
Google, in all fairness, Google might give you, like, AI might give you better answers than whatever they use in, because
they're pulling shit out of their ass. That's what it is. But
yeah, but still, it's really a good book otherwise, and it's interesting, it's exciting. St. Petersburg don't look like that, but sure. It doesn't have 3 huge islands. That's not how islands there look, but never mind. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna rant about it later. Either way, like I said, interesting.
Hmm.
The other book I read is Ultimate Endgame, and I'm just saying Ultimate Endgame because it's easier to encompass everything that I've read. It's Ultimate Wolverine and some other stuff, but the point is the story is coming to a conclusion. It's
Hmm.
the events are like unfolding, and we all know that what exactly Reed Richards of that universe did. They just have two reads. That just feels wrong. Uh,
One of them is
but
Doom.
yeah, well, it's nasty, and the stuff he's doing is nasty. But we're finding out how they're gonna defeat him. I hope they're gonna defeat him because I can't just stand a
No,
world
they,
where Reed
they
has won
they are
any version of
never
him.
they are never getting rid of the Maker. Like he's too good of a he is too good of a
He can
villain.
run away. You know what?
He's too good of a
Yeah.
he is too good of a villain to get rid of. That's
I mean,
why
I wish they could like bring him to the mainstream universe. He could at least piss off the local Reed.
yeah. I
His
mean,
local Reed is so annoying.
well,
He
they
needs
had
to be
him for
taken
a
down
while,
a notch.
didn't they have him
Yeah,
in the
yeah. But
mainstream? Like,
he escaped and like here started all this shit. Um, anyway, Ultimate Endgame. If you were waiting for the whole Ultimate to line to come out. I mean, pretty soon it's gonna be over, so probably start reading now. It's really good. Except, one thing that disappointed me is kind of like Black Panther was a really good, strong run until they completely fumbled Storm's storyline.
mm-hmm.
2 words, mystical pregnancy. Nobody likes to hear them. Nobody likes this trope. I don't know why people keep doing that. Especially like to Storm. No, don't do that. Uh, the last one. The last one is the Avengers. The Avengers had its 800th run in
Oh,
legacy numbers,
nice.
which was like a big sized run. And the latest issue, that run was pretty much focusing, on the battle and like how cool they are and awesome. But this latest run, 35, it's kind of like putting an end to the whole Twilight Court and Missing Moment arc storyline, which is really good. And it was Jed McKay is running this run. Oh my god, what am I saying? Right in this run at the moment. So this is one of the best arcs I think in the latest years, in my opinion. I didn't read all of them, but I've read a few, and I like this most because it just brings something new, something interesting. It works with this Twilight Court, which is kind of like a mirror of the Avengers. The Avengers are really, really awesome. They have this city that they operate from. Turns out that it's something else. They didn't know what it was. And all in all, good character dynamics, good story, just overall great. I definitely do recommend it. And I love Storm as an Avenger also. And those are all the comics I read.
Nice. Well, you sound like you did a lot this week, except watch Meteor Man. But you know what? It's all
So like
right.
there's a tiny issues. There's a tiny issues that are pretty fast like to read.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Well, cool. Well, those are Polly's issues. You guys go check those out. Let us know what you think about them. Again, I will say go read the Absolute Comics. I think
Definitely.
D,
Absolutely.
DC, yeah, absolutely. DC's doing their thing over there. So of course that means it's time for our news, which I realized I, I hadn't really said what we're going to be watching or talking about this week. Uh, so I got a little bit of an opinion, and I hope Polly does too, about Marvel not dropping any Super Bowl trailers, and I think that's good. Why do I think it's good? Iman
Because
Vellani,
nobody watched Super Bowl
that's not it, but
in the world. I
uh,
mean, in the
it,
world, in
uh,
America, yeah, people watch it, but nobody in the rest of the world does. We don't care. Like we have, other sports, World
yeah,
Cup,
sports that don't
Olympics.
sports that don't matter to Hollywood. But anyway, Iman Vellani talks about Wonder Man. Rumor about Wonder Man's future, the new Disney CEO and AI. Ted Sarandos of Netflix talks about Superman, in kind of in a little backhanded way. And then we're gonna do a feature because it's Black History Month. The Black Superhero of the Week. We each are going to talk about the ones that we want to spotlight, and we're going to do a Black History Month spotlight on Moon Girl and Dinosaur, the TV show, the cartoon that came out for 2 or 3 years ago from Disney. So this will be a good time. You ready to get into this, Polly?
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's do this. There is going to be no Marvel Super Bowl trailers this year, and I think that's a good thing. We got this year. Marvel is only putting out it's only 2 movies. It's gonna be Spider-Man: Brand New Day and Avengers: Doomsday. So you would think at the Super Bowl, one of the biggest events in the world, not the biggest. I know that. This is it's an
in the world.
This is not just an American. It's a North
the world
American
is
thing.
like,
I'll say
yeah,
it's a
but
North
the world.
America. Yeah, well, look, in North America, at least in Canada and the United States, because Canadians like American football too. They have their own.
There's
league.
like,
They have their own league.
it is tiny.
But in America, it's the most watched TV event of the year. Straight up, there's nothing
in America.
In America, there is no other. There's no other thing that's gonna have more eyeballs on it. So, you know they're very expensive, ad spots, and in a year where you want a blockbuster where you want everybody to know what's going on, of course you're gonna drop a trailer. So there are going to be a bunch of movie trailers that are playing at the Super Bowl or during the Super Bowl commercial breaks. That being said, Marvel's opting out of it, and DC similarly is not putting out a trailer. This is about Marvel, but I'm saying neither of the studios are doing Super Bowl trailers. This is a good thing. You might say, well, Mo, why? Why is this good? What's so great? Do they not have confidence in this? Why would they not spend the money to make sure everyone knows about it? And the answer is because they're fucking forever away. Go. Why would you spend the money? I'm so serious right now. Why would you waste money? And that's what it would be, a waste of money, getting people hyped for shit that's coming out in December. In December.
When is the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl is on Sunday. So the game is on Sunday or Sunday night.
This Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday night. Doomsday is in fucking December. What a waste! That was a waste of money. You get people hyped up. Now they gotta wait 10 months to see the thing. Why would you? That's dumb.
You could ask the same thing about the teaser trailers.
Well, but here's the deal about the teaser trailers. It was free.
Avatar needed viewership.
Look, the shit was free. They put the. I mean, like, they paid to put the trailers out in front of Avatar. Cool, right? But
who did they pay? Avatar is also Disney.
Well, I'm saying they paid the theaters to put that trailer in theater. But beyond that, they put on YouTube, whatever, right? It's just to let people know something's going on. There's no need for a Doomsday trailer. It is so far away from now. They literally need to wait until the first one we're really going to get is probably going to be in front of Spider-Man. It's probably going to be right in front of the Spider. And by the way, Spider-Man doesn't come out till June. It is months, like, it's more.
They could put out like X-Men 97 trailer.
No, they'll never spend that kind of money. There is no budget at all for the X-Men 97 season 2. They're not doing. You're talking about $7 million for a 30-second ad. They're not going to do that.
I wouldn't either.
Which is also why they're not going to put anything into the Daredevil. They're not going to advertise Daredevil because these are smaller stakes things. Look, the point I'm making is this is not. The Super Bowl is not the end-all be-all of advertisement. Yeah, it's a big platform for sure, but it is not a make-or-break situation for these movies. They don't need to, like, Supergirl doesn't need to be in front of that. right? That's not the way. The world doesn't quite work that way anymore. Maybe 15, 20 years ago, it was a must. It's not now. It's look, it's good that they don't do it because they're not hyping people up way in advance, way too far in advance, so that by the time they've seen it, and then a few months, 4 or 5 months pass, and then their hype is gone because they don't remember, right? You got to play this a lot better than that. I think it's perfect, not just perfect fun. I think it's good because they can get away from the spectacle of the Super Bowl and then just have a real marketing campaign that doesn't rely on, and also here's another thing. There's a shit ton of stuff going to be in at the Super Bowl. So many commercials, right? All those they're going to be, a one big commercial amongst a lot of other big commercials. So separating it out and doing its own thing away from this is a good thing to me. I don't know if you have an opinion about this.
Oh, yeah. I just watched, like, I checked the viewership, and around 5 billion people followed the Olympics, and 127 million people watched Super Bowl in 2025. So biggest in the world? I don't think
Well,
so.
to be fair, the Olympics is spread out over 2 weeks, so like,
Yeah, but still, I mean, really. But I think that they shouldn't hype up people early. I think that Supergirl is coming out in summer, right?
yeah,
Uh, this summer. And wasn't Spider-Man coming out this summer
they're
too? I
coming
think
out
it's
with
not too early for those.
it. Well, here's the problem is that you're talking about the bet like the ideal. I think the ideal nominal thing to do is 3 months. Start out with your teasers, and for 3 months roll out.
I don't know. I don't
But
know. But I'd say that it wouldn't be a crime to see those trailers now. On the contrary, we have like teaser for Supergirl. We don't have anything for Spider-Man. That would be fine. But if they choose to do not do it, I'm fine with that too, as long as they don't do it like during some Comic Con or like some closed event, and then make us wait another 5 months till they actually post it, because that is just you, and don't like that. Just campaign or no campaign, just do it in a way that everyone can enjoy it.
right,
That's
yeah.
all I'm expecting.
I think like you just get more bang for your buck. Also, $7 million for ad
Yeah,
space. That's
spend it on
that's
something
yeah,
better.
yeah. Do something better. You could. You don't have. You could do it. You could for that $7 million.
Not AI.
Yeah, I think for $7 million they could definitely get much more time and space later on. And like I said, within 3 months, because that's enough time to be like, oh, because like if you told them now, hey, oh, here this movie's coming out in June, they're looking like that's so long, and they'll forget about it. But if it's like, oh, it's in 7, 8, 9 weeks, oh, cool, and then you'll just keep putting TV spots and everything leading up to it. You have to kind of turn on the faucet, so to speak, at the right time. Because if you turn on too early, people are just gonna like be uninterested. So I think it's a smart thing to do. And like the Super Bowl is not, it's not the only way to get eyes on your projects. So anyway, I saw that, I was like, it's fine. I'm not mad, and I'm not anticipating like something that is way too early. So our next thing, Iman Vellani gives her letterboxd review of Wonder Man, and I think it's perfect. Personally, I think it's perfect. We love Iman Vellani. She is all of us. She's living the dream, right? She's a MCU nerd that got to be in the MCU. She's I don't know how they found Kamala Khan that's actually like in real life, but they found her. Her name's Iman Vellani, and she's perfect. She's a perfect casting. Loves her show. She also likes movies a lot. She's acting and everything. She wants to be in that creative space. but she does letterbox reviews, and look, sometimes they're short and sweet, but she never says anything out of the way. So she had a kind of longish, not gonna lie, a kind of longish, letterbox review of Wonder Man, which we reviewed. We thought it was great. We were encouraging everybody to watch. The other thing is, we're not alone, right? Everyone, we're not alone. A lot of people really like Wonder Man, and so she chimes in. I'm not gonna read. Oh shit! I don't know. Should I read the whole thing? It's kind of long. it's a bit long.
How long?
It's multiple paragraphs. Well, she says watch clap emoji, Wonder clap man clap, right? And says, and if that was not convincing enough, allow me to briefly tickle your inner skeptic with a list. If you like movies, watch Wonder Man. If you like movies about movies, watch Wonder Man. If you're a Midnight Cowboy fan, watch Wonder Man. If you've seen every Marvel ever or no Marvels at all, watch Wonder Man. If you prefer your superheroes human first and super second, watch Wonder Man. If you're a little sucker for a mentorship buddy comedy, watch Wonder Man. If you forgot what sincerity looks like, watch Wonder Man. If you miss Ben Kingsley America delivery, watch Wonder Man. If you're craving something breathable and refreshingly uninterested in assaulting you with lore, watch Wonder Man. If you appreciate some baller needle drops, watch Wonder Man. If you miss when the MCU was if you miss when the MCU was grounded and kind of weird and small and a little sad, or perhaps you felt like something's been missing lately and you can't quite put your finger on what, congrats, you found it. Watch Wonder Man. If you like when people who clearly care make projects for people who really care, watch Wonder Man. Okay, that's all I got. To summarize, WWM. And then it says in parentheses, note, this message was written under the pure influence of joy. No Kevins and or Feiges are currently present. Oh shoot, lost my pen. Sorry, I lost picture for a second. Anyway, look, this young lady's a treasure. Canada, you did it. You did it. You produced Simu Liu, and you produced Iman Vellani. Like, I mean, and Catherine O'Hara, rest in peace, who passed away. Yeah, look, Canada. She's a great export.
Keep doing what you're doing.
She's a joy, and she's 1,000,000% right. This is a perfect, I think, review of Wonder Man, and hopefully encouragement to other nerds to go watch this. And I just really enjoyed it. So I don't know. You've just heard this. What do you think about what she had to say?
Actually, I have seen it before. It's nice, really nice. So yeah, do watch Wonder Man indeed.
Y'all, this also reminds me, Iman Vellani, she is going to be in Doomsday, but it's been too long. I know the Marvels was just, what, not 24? It came out in 24, right?
I think so, yeah.
It feels like it's forever ago. We need Iman Vellani back in the MCU.
She was just in the Marvel Zombies, by the way, too.
Yes, that's true. So technically, she was in last year, but maybe she can, cross paths with Simon Williams. That'd be great. I would love to see it. I just thought it was a great thing for her to say, and she's 100%, on point, and we love her for it. So let's protect her at all costs and look forward to seeing her later this year in Doomsday. So speaking of Wonder Man, there's a rumor going around. I heard a rumor. I wish I had the power of the rumor from Umbrella Academy. Yeah, to make this real. But the question is, will Wonder Man get a season 2? I ain't gonna lie, I was seeing that a lot on social media. A lot. People watch the show. We're like, this is amazing. This is an awesome show. I mean, there's some naysayers. I saw some people be like somebody was like, well, I tried to get my kids to watch it, but they were like, it was no action and all that other stuff. And I was like, how old are they? And I think
3.
like they were younger, and I was like, okay, I get it. They're not going to understand a lot of what's going. They're not going to understand a lot of the drama that actually going on in here, and that's perfectly fine. This is not your typical MCU show, but maybe I'm just curating my threads well. But I really have not seen anybody. I've seen a few people like this, not for me, but I haven't seen anybody really say this is trash. Haven't seen it. I've just seen a lot of people being like, wow, this is refreshing. Wow. Didn't think Marvel.
I haven't seen negative reviews either, but I am curating my thread space really, really carefully.
Oh, so yeah. No, we
I wouldn't see that.
We keep that negativity away from us.
We do spring cleaning often.
But I saw like a lot of people they're just into this. There's like I said, I rewatched. A bunch of people are rewatching also. Josh Gad is having a field day, just being Josh Gad talking about it, which I love it for. I love that for him. A lot of the people that worked on it are on threads, and they're just like, hey, that was my episode, or hey, I was in this or that, and I'm just loving that for them too. So basically, everyone's like, this is awesome. When can we get more? And I was like, man, I wish Marvel TV worked the way you think it works, because Marvel TV and Warner Brothers Television are not the same thing. Because hell, Marvel Studios, the only shows so far that they have acted like they were going to make more than one season of, and they've budgeted and moved accordingly, is Daredevil and the animated shows. That's it. Like that, there's no live action show so far that they've said, let's make sure we make 3 seasons of this and we'll act like we're a regular TV studio. Even Loki got a season 2, right? Didn't it take like 3 years between the season? It took something like 2 or 3 years between the seasons to get that second one. But Daredevil, we're getting year after year. So I saw it, just a rumor, and I think Daniel RPK maybe was like, and it was just something saying to the effect of more info is coming soon, but to basically say they're working on like the possibility of it. So I just wondered, how realistic is this, and are we really gonna get a season 2? I wonder, do you think that this could be real?
No.
I would say that's no elaboration, just no.
I mean, first of all, I don't think that it necessarily needs a season 2, but again, I could be wrong. It does have the potential to have a season 2 and to tell the story of Simon actually like starting to become a superhero or something like that. But it was a story of someone who actively does not want that. So he does that because he has to. He comes across situations where he could be helpful, and I don't know. Maybe that could be the premise of the show. But in general, I think it would make sense to see him in like an ensemble movie or something. Do we need this story to be told? I mean, it could be told. It could be developed into something more, but I don't think that it needs it, and I don't think that it was necessarily as popular as it would be required to make a season 2, because a show can be great and it still wouldn't qualify for that. I don't know what their standard for show is to be like, to have that continuity. Obviously, like as we've seen with Daredevil, they're building upon something that Netflix created and that Netflix developed, and they're trying to maintain the same style and the same like take what they can from that. But I don't think that they necessarily do that with their own shows. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't. They never. I think they didn't plan for it, but I think the writers are smart enough to write a dot at the end, at the very, it says the end, and then it's just like dot question mark, right? That's what they kind of did with the end of the series, and it does leave him in a certain place where if somebody else wants to pick him up and put him into something, they could, or if they actually want to continue his adventures, they could also. Which I think that if you work for Marvel Studios, that's got to be your thought process as you develop a series or movie, that there is not an end. There's just a dot, right? So,
yeah, that they never ever continue.
Yeah, maybe they won't. And if they never continue Wonder Man, great. I mean, we know this. We know the character will end up somewhere because it's the show's too well received. I think the show's
well, yeah, and it doesn't necessarily need it. I would much rather prefer a season 2 of Ironheart, but because that show needs it.
Yes, exactly. And you're right. What's the threshold for success here? I think if I have to be honest, this is more likely than Ironheart for sure, because as well received as Ironheart was, I don't think the viewership was as good as it needed to be, considering how expensive the show is. Wonder Man was not expensive. Even they shot in and around Hollywood, which is more expensive than shooting in like Vancouver or whatever. But the number of actual named actors, not big name actors, is basically 2, right? There's no special cameos. There was so I don't think it cost that much. I honestly, when I look at the show, besides a few CG moments, it's like that fight sequence, no CG at all. It was all wire work, and you could see it was wire work, right? When you watch what happened. The only other real CG moments were a few scenes here and there. Everything else was just people being people. That's a cheap show to make. So if they can do the same thing on budget, which obviously now they're going to have to show more superpowers because Simon's more in control and he's doing stuff. But if they can bring it in on a reasonable budget, 6 to 8 episodes, in the same format doing that, I don't see why they wouldn't. Like, it would be silly not to. I'll bet you this. I'll bet you the return on investment for this show was better than X-Men 97. I'm pretty sure it was, because it's live action, so more people are more willing to put their eyes onto it. Americans and our anti-animation stuff. Does it need it though? Nah. This show, I honestly think, unless they have an amazing idea for season 2, and I mean an amazing one, that can be on par with this first season, leave it alone. Like, I really look, I'm all for yearly drops of a TV show, seasons. I'm all for that. But if you didn't conceive it that way, I don't want any more of it. I don't want it to be just like, all right, we struck gold with the first one. Let's see if we can, keep making something out of this. Because then it just has the potential to turn into just a Marvel show. Like, and not even the specialness of the Marvel show doesn't necessarily, of Wonder Man doesn't shine. To me, it doesn't shine through if he is trying to be an Avenger. Which we know in the comics, Simon does want to be an Avenger, yes, but it kind of doesn't shine the same way, because now he's just doing superhero shit, which is cool. We love superhero shit. Simon's not a superhero. That's not his appeal. To me, that's not what makes him good. What makes him good is he wants to be an actor, and he's great at it, right? And he doubts himself, and now he knows he can do it, and he has this great friendship. And once you take that and put that to the side and say also he wants to be an Avenger, I don't think the show's the same. But either way, I hope this is. I do hope this is true, because that means that they have a good idea and they want to get on with it. So let's make it happen. Anyway, we'll keep an eye out. We'll see if more news comes about this. We also have the new Disney CEO announced, and he makes some details about AI, which y'all know we don't like AI around here. I mean, I'm not completely 100% down on it, but I don't like the way it's being used. Like, look, if you use AI to deal with your calendar, like, oh, AI, I got all these things to do. Can you arrange my schedule or whatever? That's okay, fine, whatever. It's not, you weren't gonna pay anybody to do that anyway, right? If you want AI to just sort of read something and summarize it for you because you just want to quickly get the gist of it, fine, whatever. But if you want AI to write a fucking movie, get out of here. Or you want it to make a movie, okay, whatever. Because I don't care what anyone says, AI could never have made Wonder Man. Never in the history of the world will AI make a show like Wonder Man. It doesn't get good writing enough, and it doesn't get humanity enough to make a show like Wonder Man. But that, Disney's like, boo AI unless we can get profit off of it. So now they're gonna do it, right? And they're gonna roll out. We talked about it recently. So either way, on good night. Why is this being like this? Sorry, I'm trying to read this in this stupid deadline. It's bothering me about ads. I'm like, get the hell away from me so I can read this damn headline. Anyway, so yeah, Josh D'Amaro is the name of the new CEO. And also they announced Dana Walden as president and chief creative officer. So they're essentially going to be doing what Bob Iger does together, sort of. Because I think he was president and CEO and chairman of the board. He's doing all this shit. Bob Iger just loves working, apparently, whatever those positions do. Josh D'Amaro, he does not come out of the creative side of things. He comes out of the experiences division. In other words, parks and all that other stuff, I believe. Now, one thing to note is that, remember Bob Chapek, everyone's least favorite Bob that ran Disney? He had a couple years he did some really stupid shit. Some things that weren't terrible, but most of it was dumb. Bob Chapek when they promoted him to CEO, he was formerly in charge of the parks, right? And people were like, this is not good because the parks have been going downhill and he's been in charge of the downhill slide. So I don't know much about that.
Failing upwards.
Yeah, he's a rich white guy, of course. They don't go in any other direction. They either horizontally or it's
no
up.
Way but up.
But yeah, he takes over as CEO, and he took some time to talk about how they're going to be rolling out AI. I believe it's this summer to do 30-second. They were talking about 30-second AI, user generated stuff.
Something everybody wants to see and watch.
Yeah. I can't wait till they figure out how to make the AI not do porn. Let's see how that, because look.
It's actually not that hard. Not that I know exactly how to do it, but I do know that there are mechanisms to avoid that.
I'm sure there are mechanisms, but I'm telling you, never underestimate the determination of somebody to make porn out of something. Because if they if they could do it, they're gonna do it, and they'll.
They will do it. That's most certain. But still, even I know that they're trying to earn something from this AI thing, whatever they can, but I don't think that's the way to do it. You can't give people the platform. Nobody's gonna watch that, because people who do that, they do it for their own pleasure, for their own joy, and Like they are the only consumers of this.
Right. I mean, in a way, like there are certain ways they could do this, and I would be less bothered by it. Like for instance, if they're like Disneyfy yourself, right? Or you see the filter or whatever, the AI thing where it like makes yourself a Pixar, a Pixar character.
Want to look like a Pixar character.
But like, if they could just in some way sort of compensate the artists, I don't know how they would do it. They could come up with an algorithm that would figure it out. They could ask the AI.
They're not gonna do that.
They won't, because like,
if they didn't compensate the artists properly for the work that they've done for the company, they're not gonna do it for this.
I guess my thing is I could be okay with this if they would compensate them on a like kind of the way that whenever Spotify's terrible, by the way, about paying artists, but at least they theoretically they pay artists for every time their song gets played, even if it's like trash money, but still it's money. So if they did something like that for the Pixar artists, sure, make yourself into a Pixar character, right, and doing whatever. But my problem, of course, is, as I mentioned before, is that it's not just that they're like, hey, make yourself look like Baymax, or make your little short fan fiction a reality. It's that they also are going to reserve the right to take whatever you make and monetize it without you.
Good luck with that.
I mean,
good luck with that, because have they read a lot of fan fiction?
Well, look, out of all fan fiction, most of it,
a lot of it is trash.
99% is going to be garbage, but 1% is going to be alright, and like 0.005% might be actually
the
great.
Good. I don't think the good fan fiction writers would be interested in that. But the garbage, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that. Good luck trying to find something there.
Well, the great thing is
use AI to do it.
Honestly, that'll be easy because they have analytics. Anything that people watch a lot of will be looked at like, hey, this might be good.
Yeah, but sometimes people hate watching. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Let's wait and see what comes out of it, because it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
But it definitely is interesting to see what they're gonna do with that, because other companies are gonna be doing the same thing very soon.
Yeah, I think that's the real problem. And I mean, and there's other aspects of it, like the environmental effects, like so much water and electricity.
Oh, that's out of the window.
Is to make but like, and now we're in a arms race, an AI arms race. That it's just going to get worse and worse, and then eventually they're going to push as many people out, and we're going to be watching crap, AI slop as actual theatrical stuff. And like, I'm just looking at this 20 years down the road, right? So I don't love it, and I hate some aspects of it, but we are where we are. We're stuck with it, and this new guy is, let's see, is he going to be better than Bob Chapek? At the very least, it seems to me at the very least that they are taking they're splitting up some of Iger's duties a bit more, so that not one person can fuck everything up. Like, and Chapek, he had his problems but his problems were also related to the fact that he's a crony capitalist, in the sense that he would get his buddies.
Oh, but they all are.
Yeah. But I mean, he was nakedly like crony capitalist. He got his buddies in high ranking positions, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But they're big.
I'll do that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe this will work out. I'm gonna.
Either way, Butler and Jihadist sounded good right now.
I mean, if I'm being
Dune.
If I'm being perfectly honest about it, I mean, I'm close to the point of being like, you know what? Maybe the robots need to take over, because this could be
We'll see.
I mean, maybe the robots need to take over, because like.
I mean, yeah, they can do worse than the
I mean,
current
they could do
world
worse.
leaders.
I mean, they could do worse. Only in
If
the
they
sense.
learn from them,
Yeah, I mean, I think they could do worse, just because they don't have. Well, no, actually, they might do better. They at least they have. They could theoretically
they
develop.
can imitate compassion.
They could develop. They could theoretically develop morality, whereas billionaires they don't have any. So they do have morality. It's just depravity. So you know. I'm not sure if I'm more bothered by being brutalized by a machine than by you know a person in a skin suit pretending like they have human qualities. I don't know. Well, either way, we'll see what goes on with Disney going forward. We'll talk about it more then. Um, speaking of a human in a skin suit pretending to be human, Ted Sarandos of Netflix, the CEO of Netflix, who is desperately trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. But he's not Trump's favorite oligarch. He's Trump knows him. They probably golf together or whatever the fuck you do to make Trump pretend to pretend like you like Trump. He's a rich white man, so of course of course he's in charge of all of our media, and Netflix is his baby. And they're really trying to make this happen, but like I said, Trump's favorite rich white people, the owners of Paramount, they don't like what's going on. But either way, that led to Sarandos having to go up onto Capitol Hill, up to testify before Congress about the potential deal between Netflix and WB Discovery, and how it's not monopoly. It's good for competition, and it's good for the industry, and all these other lies that every one of these motherfucking CEOs of these huge conglomerates, whenever they're trying to gobble up another fucking company, they always get up there and lie about competition and how it's good for consumers and all this other bullshit. No one believes that. No one fucking believes it. But he had to go and pretend, putting on an acting clinic, if you will. So y'all would think that because I've been like, yay, Netflix won the bidding deal, y'all would think like I would be supporting what Sarandos is on about. I'm not. I'm just trying to remind everyone, I don't want anybody to buy WB Discovery. I want zero interest. I don't want it to happen at all. I want it to stay a company by itself, because this consolidation is bad for us. It's not just bad for us as consumers, it's bad for us as people, because the consolidation of media means that there are fewer checks on the reach of these companies to influence politics and views on things and whatever. And so Sarandos is sitting there talking about it. Why does this matter to us at all? Because in it he's talking about theatrical and like theatrical windows, and why some are shorter and some are longer, and people are afraid that Netflix doesn't give a shit about the theaters, and therefore if they own one of the major studios, they're going to stop putting out theatrical release movies, or at least they're going to put them out for 3 weeks and move on. And so he was talking about how he says, like, some things have longer ones, like Sinners, because of the nature of their box office, and some have shorter ones, like Superman, when that underperformed. And as soon as I heard him say that, I was like, oh, here we go again. Now I was like, I didn't have to get on Threads. I didn't have to get on there. I was like, oh, I already know how some people are gonna take this. So of course, you just look at all you gotta do is go on Google, say Ted Sarandos Superman, and look at how many thumbnails about flop. It's the word. It's a disaster. It's a gun disaster.
Snyderverse is back.
It's hilarious. Look, when we say it's a cult, it has to be like it's all of the things of a cult. Like so, and some of these people are just like most people are opportunists about a cult. They're trying to take advantage of the situation to further their own goals, and so all these anti-woke idiots are crowing about this too. Versus the Snyder Bros are like, restore the Snyderverse. Again, the shit's not happening. Zack Snyder does not want to come back and do it. And even if he did want to do it, Netflix is not going to give him more money to make anything because they gave him a shit ton of money to make 2 terrible movies. And he had complete creative control over those movies and they were trash. So, like, get it out of your head that this is going to happen. But I did find it funny and interesting that he said underperformed because, Polly, I think people need to learn, I don't know, to fucking look up words and understand what they are, right? The word underperform does not mean flop. There is no, a flop and an underperformance are 2 different things. You can make money and still underperform. It's not Batman v Superman. Man of Steel underperformed. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care what you say, what the box office is. In the midst of, in the wake of Avengers, at the time of the most popular, like comic book movies at the time that post Avengers was the most popular they could have been, right? You're in the middle of like phase 3, you're at phase 2, phase 3 of Marvel. You're putting out Superman, the biggest fucking superhero in history. And it underperformed, and it cost, by the way, it cost a shit ton of money to make. Man of Steel cost a lot of money to make. More than Superman. I think it cost more than I think James Gunn's Superman did. So, putting that onto perspective, it should have been $1 billion film, and it did not hit $1 billion, right? It underperformed. They expected more, it made less. That's what underperformance is. A flop is a movie that straight up doesn't make its money back. Like you spent the money, you spent marketing and the production budget, and after you split money with the theaters, you don't make your money back. It's a financial failure. That's a flop. A flop, that's what a flop is. Superman is not that. It made its money back and became profitable. They literally said, WB said it was profitable. What it did not do is it wasn't in the stratosphere. Like the box office wasn't like huge. It was good. That's what it did not flop. That, like, y'all don't. I know there's an agenda.
You're really expecting people who spend days yapping online about like the Snyderverse that is long dead and they just refuse to accept it. You expect these people to actually look up the meaning of words.
I mean,
no, they're gonna take it, they're gonna run with it, they're gonna make it into what they want to believe, whatever suits their vision and their fantasy of the Snyderverse coming back or whatever. They do not have the goal of like delivering actual information to people. They have the goal of creating their own narrative and their own fantasy world. Yeah, their own reality, and twisted and sick as it is, but that's what they're trying to do. They don't care. And besides, I don't think that I think that it's odd that we're even like not discussing it, but it's odd that they even paid attention to it, because that's not gonna change anything. Like, I think Warner Brothers, they did speak on it, like that they're still gonna release these movies and that they're gonna stay away from like Warner Brothers business and specifically DCU. So I don't know. Do they think that they suddenly changed their mind or something? It's just weird. It's just like really, really weird.
Yeah, I mean, Sarandos. He's answering questions from Congress, people about basically to kind of ensure that, hey, you're not trying to ruin the movie industry by basically taking Warner Brothers and making it to a streaming studio. that's the biggest deal. And I agree. That's a huge concern of mine. That's why I didn't want Warner Brothers to be sold at all. Like at all. I didn't want
Yeah, but
that.
that's gonna happen either way
Yeah.
because they don't have money.
But I mean, I'd rather take the ruining of the theatrical experience over the ruining of the political future of the United States. So that's why I don't want Paramount to get it. that's really it. My calculus is we'll still get movies whether or not Warner Brothers is around. We may not have an America with a de facto state media outlet doing the worst.
You're still gonna have America. You're not gonna like it.
Well,
But then again,
I guess I don't
when
wanna,
did you ever like it?
I don't want to live in Panem. That's my main deal. So, look, it was not a flop. Learn the fucking definitions of words before you speak.
They don't know how to read. What are you expecting them to do?
And like also the Snyderverse is not coming back. It's I'm gonna say this. Jesus will be back before the Snyderverse comes back. Now, and it's taken 2,000.
Yeah, but
it's taken 2,000
how
years.
far do you think of these people from this doomsday cults that are expecting the
Yeah,
second coming?
they're look. I'm telling you, wait on Jesus first before you wait on the Snyderverse to come back. And it's been over 2,000 years, and I expect the 2,000 plus more are gonna pass. Also, so like you're not getting it. Fucking get over it. That like it's just weird. Just y'all being weird. And also Sarandos he wasn't wrong. He didn't say anything wrong. He just didn't say what you thought he said. Anyway, that brings us to we're gonna talk about the Black History Month superhero spotlight. Where we are gonna for the month of February, we are gonna spotlight each of us our superhero of the week. Just these may be heroes you know, maybe ones you don't know, but it'll be interesting. So we're going to start off with Polly's superhero of the month, which is, let's see.
Not this.
Yes, it's Livewire, which is a character from Valiant Comics that I am not familiar with. So Polly, get me up to speed.
Not only I am familiar with this character, one of my favorite characters, a black character, and look at this. This is great.
Are those Rob Liefeld shoulder pads? That's wild.
No,
I know.
Nothing Rob Liefeld about this book. So, if you are familiar with Valiant Universe, they have Psiots, which is the version of mutants, and Livewire is one of them. So, in other words, she's pretty much Valiant's own Magneto. She's cool, she's powerful, she's a lot like Storm because there's electricity powers and stuff. But also, she's a kind of a technopath, so she can influence technology and digital devices. She can do a lot. She's pretty damn powerful. She's one of the most powerful characters in this universe, and she's absolutely epic and absolutely badass. At one point in the comics, she does exactly what Magneto did in the X-Men 97, turns down everything, all the electricity, all the power in the world, and makes up for a pretty great story. So if you do want to this in particular is written by Vita Ayala, and it's a very beautiful book, deluxe edition. Very cool book with cool art, with cool characters. But if you do want to read her story, you would have to start with, with Harbinger Wars 2, which is another deluxe book that I have. I really love this book. Any excuse to show him off, and Secret Weapons, of course. So this tell her story, the story, and the story of the kids that she's kind of looking after. Very cool book, very cool character, a very powerful character, and even though at that point when these books were coming out, Valiant's universe, it wasn't exactly all obvious, but the issues were still mirroring your average everyday political problems that we
Hmm.
used to see in the comics. It's um well, pretty much like X-Men books, a lot alike. But in general, it's kind of more metaphorical still. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Livewire, one of my favorite characters. I remember that some time ago there was like some talking about a movie about her, but that's not happening, obviously now. And but well, even I've heard, I haven't read anything from Valiant in a while, but I've heard that it went downhill kind of. And even though these books still great, still awesome, and I definitely do recommend them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did see that thing about development, but I think it's because I think Valiant, they because I think this all happened. What the comics that you're talking about are they like from like a decade ago, somewhere around there?
Oh, these ones. Oh God, I don't want to say decade ago, but like a while ago. Let
But
me check out
I, I
the.
I imagine that this was during the when the MCU was really firing on all cylinders, and there was everyone's like, we're gonna do a comic book thing too. And remember
Well,
they
I've heard about that sometime after Bloodshot was released,
yeah, Bloodshot fucked
and
everything up for for
this
Valiant.
book was God, it was 2018, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
2018 is
so
Livewire
not
series.
not quite a
A while
decade, but
ago,
so
almost 10 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah, surprising.
so
Feels new.
yeah, it makes sense to me that like why there that's not moving forward. Like I said, Bloodshot fucked everything up for Valiant in general, but also um, I think the appetite for non-big two superhero stuff is very small. Like, and for good reason. I think in order to make in order to make a character, you could probably make Livewire a thing as a comic book thing, but it doesn't have the kind of the mystique or aura of hey, it's DC, hey, it's Marvel, and that's
That's true. That's true. But even though it does have a really, really great villain, one of the greatest villain, several great arcs that could come together. It does have the potential. It was written with that in mind. It feels like it was written with that in mind. Like TV shows,
mm-hmm.
movies, things that could come out of it. But even if it doesn't ever get developed into something more, it's still a great series of comics. It's a great set of characters. So that particular era is worth checking out.
Right. Well, yeah, you guys, you know what to do. I think you probably, I don't know if it's on Global Comics, but you might be able to read some of this stuff on Global Comics, or I'm sure other digital retailers, or go check out your library. They might have it. So you guys go check that out. Livewire, one of the great black superheroes, which leads to mine. It's Lunella Lafayette, who is AKA Moon Girl of Moon Girl and Dinosaur. And let's just face it, the smartest person in the Marvel Comics universe. Yeah, in the MCU,
Even the Reed
yeah,
Richards agrees.
yeah, like he can't deny it. She's literally smarter than him. Doctor Doom can't deny it. Doctor Doom apparently wasn't happy about it, but
He
like
doesn't try it.
he wasn't happy, but he's like, God damn it, she is smarter than me. Yes. So this is a character that I remember when she debuted, like, God, so long ago, 2015. So yeah, over 10 years ago. Um, this was a character. Was this part of all Marvel All In? I don't know if it was All In, but basically Moon Girl and Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur was a Jack Kirby thing. This is kind of like a successor to it with the same Devil Dinosaur, but Lunella, she's from the Lower East Side of Harlem. She she's super smart, but because she's not privileged, she doesn't go. She just goes to a regular school, and she's not popular. She's smart and weird and everything, and then she gets a friend in the form of Devil Dinosaur when he accidentally comes into from the ancient past where he's from into the present day, and then they become superhero team. And in the process, they learn that, you know, the real devil dinosaur is the friends that we made along the way.
No, it's the real friend we made along the way is the devil
Yeah,
dinosaur.
that part.
Yeah.
Created by Brandon Montclair and Amy Reeder, and designed and drawn by Natasha Bustos. Ran for 47 issues, and she continues to be a character across the Marvel Comics universe. I love the version of her that we saw in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, the cartoon, which is, it's somewhat changed because she's 9 years old in the comic book. She's like 13, I believe, in the TV show. So they age her up a little bit, and they add some characters. But a lot of the things that happen are very similar, like crossing paths with Kid Kree and dealing with some of the things in this TV show don't quite happen. The reason I think she's a great character for multiple reasons. Yes, she's black, and I mean that. Like, if you look at her picture, her hair is not straightened. It's not like it's none of that. She has big poofy black people hair. In the cartoon, they actually have a whole episode about her, being insecure about her hair, and it's a great episode. But in the comics, she's a little more. She's a lot less fun and fun. What do you call it? A lot less of a fun character. Because she has a hard time relating with people and dealing with people. That's why Devil is such a good friend to her. They don't necessarily get along at first, but they become a duo. And she's smarter than fucking everybody. Like literally, she's smarter than Bruce Banner, and she shows it. She's hell at the time. Amadeus Cho, I don't know if y'all remember from the comics, if you didn't read the comics at the time. He was like, I'm the seventh smartest person on the planet. He had calculated it, and he was. And she's way smarter than him. like in some future versions of her, she is literally holding the line because of her intelligence. She's keeping shit together for the heroes as an older person. She's precocious. She kind of does whatever, she thinks she's right, and she's gonna go off and do her thing. And she gets involved in a lot of stuff. I think, I remember the comics version of her it's a fun comic, but it's the Marvel Comics universe, so some real serious shit happens too. She gets them caught up and swept up in a lot of real serious things. As I said, she crossed paths with Doctor Doom at one point because he couldn't believe that she's smarter, and she was like, and she proved it. Also, she was an Inhuman in the comics. And her Inhuman power lets her switch bodies basically with Devil Dinosaur, which obviously leads to some hijinks. She's fought with she's met Kamala Khan and her have teamed up. She's teamed up with Riri Williams. Just basically, she's done a lot of stuff, and I think unfortunately maybe I don't think writers necessarily know what to do with her. To incorporate her in, because there are a lot of super smart characters. Some of them are really mainstream, and some of them are not known, but there's a lot of like hella smart people. And so really Reed Richards seems to be the only, and Tony Stark seem to be the only ones that get to hang around all the damn time. And so I would like to see more of her and other things, but I really enjoy her, just like her concept. She's a little black girl that is beyond competent, and she deserves to be on the stage, definitely. And no one can be like, don't listen to her, she's just a little kid. That's everyone who does that, they're wrong. The way they imagine her for the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is just very endearing, and it's a fun character, and she's got so much style, and she's just cool. She's a cool character, and the design they have for her is really dope. We'll talk about that more. I love Lunella Lafayette. I think that she's a great black character, And you know what? If you know someone, first of all, if you just know someone who wants to read cool comics, point them to Moon Girl and Dinosaur. But if you have a little black boy or girl that likes comic books in your life, definitely point them to Lunella, to her comic books, and get them hooked. So we'll come back next week. We're going to talk about more, cool black superheroes. Which leads us to our Black History Month spotlight on Moon Girl and Dinosaur, which is a dope show. And I've reviewed it. You've reviewed it. Well, look, we've talked about it before, so we're not gonna re-review it. I just wanted to once again show some love for a show, one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years, easily one of my favorite TV shows, and I would even contend one of the best comic book adaptations that we've gotten, like straight up, based on, of course, the Moon Girl and Dinosaur that I was just talking about. It was a Disney XD TV show, so it's basically aimed at tweens, basically, kids, tweens, and it does a thing that I think that more comic book stuff should do, which is it shows a lot of love to the actual comic books. Like it shows so much love to them. Like they're not exactly one-to-one, adaptations. So like we get the Beyonder. The Beyonder in this show is not the Beyonder from the comics, which is probably for the better, because this Beyonder is so much better than the one from the comics, right?
That Beyonder is scary.
The Beyonder it's a fun character that's got a ton of power, but also it shows a lot of love to the MCU because we get Maria Hill voiced by Kobe Smulders, and it's Maria Hill, right? We get many cameos. They have some villains that are made specifically for the show, and then they have some real villains, right? We like Molecule Man is in this one, but he's way different than, like, much different than the actual Molecule Man from the TV show, from the comics. In fact, I'd say more terrifying, actually. And the show does what really matters, which is it showcases a black family being like a family unit, and all of their kind of like day-to-day dramas, and not necessarily, they're not struggling, but their day-to-day dramas and interpersonal reactions and connections to each other, and how Lunella fits in there as a part of that family unit, and it's really beautiful. I got more to say, but like, good guy. Look, 2 seasons, 2 high-quality seasons of comic book storytelling, and I absolutely love it. So what say you?
Again, also, yeah, it's very enjoyable. It's I mean, at the time for me it was a little bit childish. Like, sometimes I want to watch something like that, something like easygoing and light, and sometimes I'm just not in that mood. But if you pick the right mood and watch it, it's gonna be the best experience. And in general, I do like the character of Moon Girl. I do remember her, like, in the comics. The only time I think I encountered her was in Fantastic Four comics, and then in I think it was America Chavez comic book, where she went to a school, and Moon Girl also was in that school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, mostly I just it's a great show for black kids, for black teens too, and does not only focuses on the things that superhero kids go through, but my favorite part probably is how it focuses on the things that an average black child would go through.
Yeah. I think I mentioned the whole hair episode.
Yeah. And I just remember that I saw a while ago a review from there was a person that I used to like mutually follow on Instagram, and they were doing reviews for shows and stuff and comics, and And they wrote like, understand why they needed like a white person, of course, why they needed the whole episode to talk about the hair. I'm like, girl, you know it's not for you. Why are you even like opening your mouth? What the hell is going on here? Because you know, you immediately can see that just
You don't
yeah,
understand.
you won't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole and it's great actually that that episode specifically exists, and people have access to it, because that's something that I did struggle when I was a kid. So speaks to me personally.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the hair. I mean, it's stuff like the hair. The episode with her, wanting to fast forward through the boring parts, and then she realizes she's missing quality time with her dad. I mean, that spoke to me obviously, and I watched this with my daughter too, by the way. So I got to hear what she had to say about it, and also, my own personal reaction to it. There's the family dynamic is so good. Like, her grandparents are there, her mom and dad. They're all like, they live in the same house basically, and they're just a tight unit. But also, you get Casey thrown in there, that becomes her best friend. So she's part of the expense, and then Devil is in there too. Devil's for a character that doesn't say anything, so expressive. Such a great addition to the to the whole dynamic. It's a woke ass show. That show is so damn woke. I'm sure.
Shocking.
Yeah, it's so woke that like it clearly has never been to sleep. Because it's just like diversity, inclusion, we respect, respecting everyone and everyone's pronouns, and life lessons and all. It's one of the it's a kids TV show, the way kids TV shows used to be, which is, yeah, we're entertaining, but we're trying to say something. We're not trying to tell you something about, some life lessons, some ways to think about the world, how to approach things. Like, I remember one episode literally was about peer pressure, where Lunella felt pressured to get a date for a school dance, and at the end of it, she's like, she made her Kid Creed goes to the school there, and she made him very uncomfortable, because he's like, I'm not ready to date. I'm not interested. I like you, but I'm not trying to date. And she tried to make something out of it. She made him very uncomfortable. And then she was like, I don't want to either. I just felt pressure because everybody else was getting a boyfriend. And I was like, thank you. You can just tell people hey, everybody ain't on the same time, right? We can still hang out. It's all good. Just stuff like that. This is what it's the writing is it's very thoughtful. It's fun. It's very funny, but it's very thoughtful, and it brings up real shit.
A lot of times, writers, when they write teenagers or kids, they kind of make them either too smart or dealing with the problems that they think the kids would relate to. But it's what's up? How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
But really, it takes writing like this. It comes along once in a while, and it's just great, and it speaks to you as an adult, and it speaks to you when you're a kid, and that's the most important part. But not many writers can do that, and can do that well, because to nail the character, they age, they psychological age, and how they feel perfectly when you're not writing about someone your age or the age that you remember well, because obviously, how well can you remember yourself when you were 13?
Yeah.
Not that well. It's difficult, but when it's done right, it's just amazing. And this is just one of those cases.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love this show. I hate that it only got 2 seasons. We're not going to get more of it. I think it deserved better, but this media landscape is brutal. it really is.
2 seasons is good,
but 2 seasons, look, 2 very quality
more
seasons.
Than most.
And I highly recommend it. Just get out there and watch it. And even if you're jaded and you're just I don't want to watch any kid stuff, I still think there's a lot to be, to really enjoy, even as a jaded, grown up, superhero fan. I think there's a lot to enjoy there, and also you're gonna be pointing at the screen like you're Leonardo DiCaprio often, because they definitely are comic book fans. They layer in stuff that like you're like, oh, that's a comic book reference for sure. So go check it out. So with that said, that's all of our news and everything for this week. This is a good episode. I had a good time talking about all this good stuff, even if the world's kind of dire right now. But
Oh well, the world's still gonna be dying tomorrow.
yeah, it will be. But maybe we can, while the ship is going down, we can
Play music.
play video games or something. Yeah, music, video games, whatever. Either way, maybe we missed something this week. Maybe you want to say something nice, troll us, whatever the case may be, you know what to do. Get down there to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Man, I've got to fix this. It's still saying the wrong thing for TikTok. Whatever. Go and show us some love. And of course, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other things we do on Blurred Force 1. And of course, I couldn't do this by myself. Needed my good friend Polly to, let me know all about Livewire, which I did not know about that character at all. So now I know, and I'm more interested.
Now you know some things about,
Yeah,
not too much.
So, where can they reach you on social media?
_mixed on Threads, on Tumblr, on Instagram.
Yeah, go check out that review she just had for Shield. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Sensational.
And wait for the next one, because that was the Savage She-Hulk. I'm reading Sensational She-Hulk, and it's an entirely different story, and I'm enjoying it so much. But I post a lot of pictures from it and beautiful things that it has, because it has such creative creative things, moments, just awesome. So yeah.
Now remind me, is Sensational the one where she starts breaking the fourth wall?
Yes, it's written by John Byrne, and yeah, it's the one where she gets her personality and starts breaking the fourth wall, and it just have creative artistic moments. Like I posted it recently, the page with the letters that has the names of the creators of the comic book on it. It's so beautiful.
I feel like I saw the one where
it's funny. It's so hilarious.
There's the one page where she reaches up and literally pulls the page over herself, or pulls the page away, and she's like, nope.
I haven't gotten there yet, but it is so self-aware, and she at some point she learns to cross from one panel to another.
I like this. I believe that run was the one. It highly influenced the She-Hulk TV show, and so remember?
Yes, it did.
Remember when people were like, "What the fuck?" She crawled out of the show and then talked to Kevin.
Yeah.
And
that is so on brand for her.
She does that more than once in John Byrne's. More than once, she scolds him. She talks to him.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? No.
And she counts issues where and when anything happens. She threatens you on the cover of the first one that she's gonna tear all your X-Men comic books if you're not gonna buy her book. And I really felt afraid for my X-Men books, and I love them.
See, this
and
is
back then, obviously, X-Men were the run.
I think this is when people say comic books are look, not too many things can do what comic books do. There are just some there are some aspects of the medium that can't be replicated. The closest they've got, and I'm not kidding, that part where she reaches out of Disney Plus is the closest they could get to what she can do in the comic books. It's it's just another. This is why we love comic books. That's it. So anyway, you guys go check that out and go show some love. And thanks for joining us on this episode 218 of the Supercast. Come back next week. We're going to talk about even more comic book stuff. We're going to Possibly we're going to talk about Meteor Man, but it could be that. We'll see. We'll see if we get that done. But either way, we got plenty more comic book stuff to talk about next week. So until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by my good friend Polly, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.